Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. In a far corner of the galaxy, where the stars shine a little brighter and the planets spin a little faster, the Zeltrons prepared for their latest expedition. The Zeltrons were an advanced species known throughout their star system for their intelligence, curiosity, and, most notably, their diminutive size. Standing no taller than a human thumb, the Zeltrons had conquered countless challenges in their quest for knowledge. Their latest invention, the Galactic Spec, was a testament to their ingenuity, a miniature spaceship designed for deep space exploration, equipped with the most sophisticated technology their species had ever developed. On this particular mission, the Galactic Spec was tasked with cataloging new planets in an uncharted region of the galaxy. The mission was supposed to be routine, a simple flyby of a few planets to gather data and return home. But fate had other plans. As the Galactic Spec zipped through space, a sudden gravitational pull from a nearby wormhole caught the tiny ship in its grip. The crew of Zeltrons, led by the fearless Commander ZYX, scrambled to regain control, but it was too late. The ship was sucked into the wormhole, and within moments, they found themselves hurtling toward a small, blue planet. Emergency landing protocol initiated. Commander ZYX barked, his voice crackling with urgency. The ship's navigation system struggled to find a safe landing spot, eventually guiding them into the atmosphere of the mysterious planet. With a gentle thud, the Galactic Spec touched down in a patch of tall, green vegetation. Unbeknownst to the Zeltrons, it was the backyard of a typical suburban home on Earth. The Zeltrons, ever the explorers, were undeterred by the unexpected detour. As they peered out from the ship's windows, they marveled at the towering green stalks surrounding them. To the tiny aliens, the blades of grass looked like a dense forest, each blade as tall as a skyscraper. "This planet is extraordinary," Commander ZYX mused, stroking one of his antennae. "We must conduct an in-depth exploration. Who knows what wonders we might discover?" The crew buzzed with excitement. For the Zeltrons, exploration was more than a mission, it was a way of life. They suited up in their tiny exosuits, which provided protection against the unknown elements of alien worlds, and prepared to disembark. As the ship's hatch opened, the Zeltrons were greeted by the fresh scent of Earth's flora. The ground beneath them was soft and uneven, like a vast, alien landscape. They spread out, their tiny feet making barely a sound as they moved through the grass, which swayed gently in the breeze. Their first encounter with Earth's fauna came sooner than expected. As they ventured deeper into the backyard, they heard a low, rumbling sound that sent vibrations through the ground. The Zeltrons froze, their tiny hearts racing with anticipation. From behind a particularly thick blade of grass emerged a massive creature, covered in soft, striped fur. It was Whiskers, the family cat. To the Zeltrons, Whiskers was a giant, towering above them like a mountain. The cat's curious eyes, each the size of a Zeltron, narrowed as it spotted the tiny intruders. Commander ZYX, ever the brave leader, stepped forward and raised his hand in what he believed to be a universal sign of peace. "Greetings, dominant life form of this planet," Commander ZYX declared. "We come in peace." Whiskers, of course, did not understand the Zeltrons' intentions. Instead, the cat's natural curiosity took over. With a playful flick of its paw, Whiskers swatted at the tiny aliens. To the Zeltrons, it was as if a great wind had suddenly swept through the area. They tumbled backward, narrowly avoiding being crushed under the cat's massive paw. "Retreat!" Commander ZYX shouted, as the crew scrambled to get back to the safety of the Galactic Spec. They barely made it inside before Whiskers pounced again, this time sending the ship rolling through the grass. Once inside, the Zeltrons quickly activated the ship's shields, which created an invisible barrier around them. Whiskers, now bored with the unresponsive object, wandered off to find something else to play with. The crew gathered in the command center, their tiny bodies trembling with adrenaline. "That was too close," said Lieutenant Vex, the ship's second in command. "I've never seen a creature like that. It's far more powerful than anything we've encountered before." Commander ZYX nodded, deep in thought. "This planet is more dangerous than we anticipated. We must proceed with caution." But the mission continues. We've only just begun to explore this world. With the immediate threat gone, the Zeltrons resumed their exploration, this time with a more strategic approach. They decided to investigate the large structure looming in the distance, the human house. From their perspective, it appeared to be a massive fortress, undoubtedly the central command center of the planet's inhabitants. Using their ship's advanced cloaking technology, the Zeltrons managed to enter the house undetected, slipping through an open window and into what they believed to be the heart of the structure, the kitchen. To the Zeltrons, the kitchen was a bewildering sight. The shiny surfaces, towering appliances, and unfamiliar objects gave the impression of a high-tech laboratory. They moved cautiously, their eyes wide with wonder as they took in the sights and sounds of this strange new environment. "What do you think these devices are used for?" asked scientist Xylo, one of the crew's leading researchers. Commander ZYX examined the large, rectangular object standing against the wall, the refrigerator. "This must be some sort of storage unit for biological specimens," he hypothesized. As they continued to explore, they came across the kitchen's most fearsome device, the blender. The Zeltrons stared up at the machine, with its sharp blades and tall glass container. To them, it looked like a menacing defense weapon. "We must be careful," Commander ZYX warned. "This could be a trap set by the planet's inhabitants to deter intruders." Unfortunately, the Zeltrons' caution was in vain. As they attempted to study the blender more closely, one of them accidentally activated it. The sudden roar of the blades whirring to life sent the tiny aliens into a panic. The noise was deafening, and the air around them seemed to vibrate with the sheer force of the machine. "Deactivate it," Commander ZYX ordered, but the controls on the blender were far too large for the Zeltrons to manipulate. In a desperate attempt to stop the machine, Lieutenant Vex spotted the power cord trailing down the counter and onto the floor. He and a few other crew members rushed to the cord, climbing down to the plug. With all their strength, they managed to pull the plug from the outlet, silencing the blender. The Zeltrons collapsed on the counter, gasping for breath. The ordeal had left them shaken, but they were relieved that they had survived another close encounter. "We must report this to the High Council," scientist Xylo said. "The technology on this planet is far more advanced than we expected." Commander ZYX agreed. "This planet is a dangerous place. We must proceed with extreme caution." Despite their growing apprehension, the Zeltrons continued their exploration. Next, they ventured into what they believed to be a sanctuary, a place where the planet's inhabitants gathered to observe and learn. In reality, it was the living room. The Zeltrons were immediately drawn to the largest object in the room, the television. The screen was currently showing a nature documentary, but to the Zeltrons, it appeared to be a live feed of events happening somewhere else on the planet. As they watched in horror, a lion appeared on the screen, chasing down and capturing its prey. The Zeltrons, believing this to be a real-time event, were convinced that Earth was a planet ruled by ferocious predators. "We must avoid these creatures at all costs," Commander ZYX said, his voice filled with urgency. "We need to find a way to protect ourselves." Spotting a lamp on a side table, the Zeltrons mistook it for some kind of Earth defense mechanism. They decided to activate their ship's energy shield around the lamp, thinking it would offer them protection from the predators they believed were lurking nearby. As they huddled around the lamp, the documentary on the television shifted to a peaceful scene of a family of deer grazing in a meadow. The Zeltrons, however, were too on edge to appreciate the change in tone. Every rustle of the curtains, every creak of the house, sent them into a state of heightened alert. "We must complete our mission quickly and leave this planet," Lieutenant Vex said, his antennae twitching nervously. Commander ZYX nodded. "Agreed. We've gathered enough data. Let's make one final sweep of this structure and return to the ship." Their final exploration took them to the bathroom, which they believed to be the last unexplored frontier of the house. To the Zeltrons, the bathroom was a mysterious and potentially dangerous place. The sink and toilet were mistaken for massive Earth communication devices, while the bathtub was seen as a vast ocean, teeming with unknown dangers. In a bold move, Commander ZYX decided to send a scouting party to investigate the bathtub, which they believed might contain valuable water samples. They fashioned a makeshift boat out of a soap dish and carefully lowered it into the tub. Just as the scouting party began collecting water samples, the unthinkable happened. The homeowner, unaware of the tiny aliens, turned on the shower. A sudden torrent of water cascaded down from above, drenching the Zeltrons and sending their soap dish boat careening across the tub. "Abandoned ship!" Commander ZYX shouted, but the sound was drowned out by the roar of the water. The scouting party was thrown into chaos, their tiny bodies battered by the force of the water. In a desperate bid to save his crew, Lieutenant Vex activated the ship's emergency retrieval system, which beamed the scouting party back aboard the galactic spec. Soaked and shaken, the Zeltrons regrouped in the command center, where they assessed the situation. "This planet is too dangerous," Commander ZYX finally admitted. "We've gathered enough data. It's time to return home." The crew didn't argue. They had faced enough perils for one day, and the idea of returning to the safety of their own star system was a welcome one. As they prepared to depart, they caught one last glimpse of Whiskers, the cat, now lounging peacefully in the backyard, completely unaware of the chaos it had caused earlier. Commander ZYX took a moment to log their findings. "Planet Earth, Class X," he wrote in his report. "Hazardous environment. Advanced technology. Dominant life forms are unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Further exploration is not recommended." With that, the galactic spec's engines hummed to life, and the tiny ship lifted off from the backyard, unnoticed by the humans and animals below. The Zeltrons set a course for home, eager to share the tales of their harrowing adventure with the rest of their species. As they sped away from Earth, the crew couldn't help but reflect on their journey. They had encountered dangers they had never imagined, but they had also witnessed the wonders of a new world, even if it was far more perilous than they had expected. Commander ZYX allowed himself a small smile. "Well done, everyone," he said. "We may be small, but we've proven that we're more than capable of handling whatever the universe throws at us." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted as they sailed through the stars, ready for whatever adventures awaited them next. As the galactic spec hurtled through the vast expanse of space, the Zeltrons allowed themselves a brief moment of respite. The familiar constellations of their home galaxy began to reappear on the ship's navigation screen, bringing a sense of comfort and relief to the weary crew. Yet, even as the stars whizzed past, Commander ZYX couldn't shake the lingering thoughts of their recent adventure on Earth. The experience had been harrowing, but also exhilarating, an expedition that would undoubtedly be remembered in the annals of Zeltron history. Commander ZYX sat in his command chair, gazing out at the starry void. The ship's engines purred steadily, a soothing reminder of their return to normalcy. Lieutenant Vex, ever the dutiful second-in-command, approached with a data tablet in hand. "Commander," Vex said, his tone respectful yet tinged with curiosity. "The data we collected from Earth, should we transmit it to the High Council immediately, or wait until we've completed a full analysis?" ZYX pondered the question, his antennae twitching thoughtfully. "Transmit the preliminary report now," he decided. "The High Council should be informed of our findings as soon as possible. But let's conduct a thorough analysis of the data once we're back in orbit around Zeltron 7. I want to make sure we didn't overlook anything significant." Vex nodded and moved to carry out the order, his movements efficient and precise. Despite the apparent calm, the crew remained on high alert. The memories of their encounters with Earth's unpredictable environment and its peculiar inhabitants were still fresh in their minds. Each Zeltron understood that their survival had hinged on both luck and their quick thinking, a testament to their training and adaptability. As the galactic spec glided through space, the crew busied themselves with routine tasks, checking systems and analyzing the data from their mission. The ship's onboard AI, an advanced program named Zetron, monitored the crew's activities, occasionally chiming in with helpful suggestions or status updates. "Commander ZYX," Zetron's voice echoed softly through the command center, "I have completed a preliminary review of the data logs from our time on Earth. There are several anomalies worth investigating further, particularly regarding the planet's magnetic fields and the potential for undiscovered energy sources." ZYX leaned forward, intrigued. "Energy sources, you say? Elaborate, Zetron." "The planet's magnetic field fluctuations, particularly in the area surrounding our landing site, indicate the presence of energy signatures that do not correspond with any known natural phenomena," Zetron explained. "These signatures could potentially be harnessed for power, if properly studied and understood." The thought of untapped energy sources piqued ZYX's interest. As a species, the Zeltrons had always been on the lookout for new ways to enhance their technology and improve their way of life. Discovering a new energy source on a remote planet like Earth could prove to be a game-changer. "Make a note of it in the report," ZYX instructed. "We'll present our findings to the High Council and propose a follow-up mission to investigate these energy signatures more thoroughly." Vex, who had been listening in on the conversation, raised an eyebrow. "Another mission to Earth, Commander? After everything we just went through?" ZYX gave a small, wry smile. "The mission might be dangerous, Vex, but the potential rewards could be worth it. Besides, we're explorers. It's in our nature to take risks for the sake of discovery." Vex couldn't argue with that. The Zeltrons had always prided themselves on their willingness to explore the unknown, no matter the dangers involved. It was this very drive that had led them to develop the galactic spec in the first place, a vessel designed to go where no Zeltron had gone before. As the ship continued its journey home, the crew settled back into their routines, each member reflecting on the events of their mission. For many, the encounter with Earth had been a stark reminder of the unpredictability of space exploration. Yet, it had also reinforced their sense of purpose and determination. They were pioneers, charting the unknown corners of the galaxy for the betterment of their species. Several hours passed in relative silence, broken only by the occasional status update from Zetron or the quiet hum of the ship's engines. Finally, the blue-green orb of Zeltron 7 appeared on the horizon, its familiar landscape a welcome sight for the tired crew. Entering orbit around Zeltron 7, Zetron announced. "All systems are green. We're ready to begin docking procedures. Commander ZYX felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had made it back, safe and sound, with valuable data in tow. As the ship descended toward the planet's surface, he allowed himself a moment to reflect on their journey. The exploration of Earth had been unlike any mission they had undertaken before. The planet, with its unpredictable dangers and surprising mysteries, had tested their skills and resolve in ways they hadn't anticipated. But it had also shown them that there was still so much to discover, even in the farthest reaches of space. As the galactic speck docked at the Zeltron spaceport, the crew prepared to disembark. They had reports to file, data to analyze, and perhaps, just perhaps, another mission to plan. Commander ZYX, the last to leave the ship, paused at the airlock. He glanced back at the interior of the galactic speck, the vessel that had carried them safely through the perils of space and brought them home again. A small smile played on his lips. "Until next time," he murmured, patting the ship's hull affectionately. Then, with a nod, he stepped out into the bustling spaceport, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the doors to the airlock closed behind him, the lights in the galactic speck dimmed, the ship entering standby mode, awaiting its next adventure.